I have been passionate about fountain pens for a very long time. And I've tried just about every type of pen, every nib that you can imagine. But some pens get under your skin. Some pens seduce you, just enchant you completely. And you can't stop thinking about them or put them down. Some pens you reach for every chance you get. Some pens really inspire you. This is the case for me with this charming little treasure of a pen, the Montblanc Bohème. Montblanc launched the Bohème line in 1999, and it lasted until 2006. And in that time, they produced some 40 different varieties of this pen. They had many different lab-grown gems on the clip, from onyx to sapphire to ruby, like mine, the Bohème Rouge. There was even a heart-shaped gem on one clip, and one pen was diamond encrusted, so they really went probably beyond the realms of good taste. But when you do produce this many varieties, it inspires a certain passion in some people to collect as many of them as they can. I'm fighting that urge myself, but I understand it. Because there is something very unique about this fountain pen. And that's not easy. When you think about fountain pens, many of them share the same basic design. And few really go beyond that template. And fewer still do it in such a charming and interesting way as this magical little pen. Montblanc's intent was to produce a high-quality, refined, luxurious pen, and I think in that they were largely successful. However, when you use this pen daily, that's not really how it feels. It feels much more charming and elegant, and dare I say a bit playful. Its diminutive stature makes the design elements very compact, and so they have an immediate conversation with each other. From the synthetic paramount cut ruby on the clip, to the wide gold cap band, to the relatively flat cap with the Montblanc glacial star. And of course, there's a lot going on at the end with these different gold lines and this little hinge. That's really exciting. So this pen has a certain clock-like charm. It's like a wind-up clock or a beautiful mechanical clock with complications. That's one of the things I really love about it. It's one of the things that really makes it interesting. As you hold this pen in your hand, it's definitely small. It makes for the perfect pocket pen or purse pen. In fact, it might be one of the best purse pens I've ever seen, and it does have this certain feminine energy to it that's just absolutely delightful. It has a relatively short cap that unscrews and reveals an incredible surprise that even if you're prepared for it, the first time you see it, you're a little taken back. There's no nib there. But, and this is this pen's first secret. When you post this pen and you take the cap and you screw it on the back of the pen, that nib is slowly revealed as you turn. It makes a little mechanism reveal the nib. And then there's a little sweet spot in the turn where it just settles in and the clip aligns perfectly with the nib. This is one of those clock-like enhancements that I absolutely love about it. And of course, it reveals a Montblanc nib This one's a medium. And that nib is in the size of a Montblanc Classique. Small, elegant, beautiful, incredibly made. Now, once this pen is posted, it is the size you would expect of any fountain pen. It's extremely comfortable, and the weight of the cap at the back of the pen rests perfectly against your hand. The balance is extraordinary, and that makes it an absolute joy to write with. There's also this almost ritualistic feeling of uncapping and posting this pen. This is not a quick note-taking pen. It's not a pen for work or for school so much. It's not something you can easily write quickly and move about your day. It probably takes a good 10 seconds to prepare this pen for writing. But for those long, languorous journaling sessions, or for writing a correspondence, it's glorious. It puts you in mind that you're about to write. It just feels fantastic, and it gives you this bit of transitional space as you prepare yourself to write. And you really grow to love it. Now, you don't have to post this pen, but I don't know why you wouldn't. You certainly could turn the little piston at the back with your hand, and the nib will come out just as well, but then the pen just feels a bit too short for me. But now, this is not this pen's only trick. One of the other things that this can do that's really interesting is the little piston on the back is a hinge. So you can crack it open and then turn it, and it reveals the cartridge. Now, this pen only takes cartridges, and there is a certain limitation to that. And we all know how to get around it. We all know how to use an ink syringe to refill a cartridge, but it does give you some advantages too, especially if you like to use a lot of different inks. So it is incredibly easy to simply turn this, reveal the cartridge, and pop it out. Change it, refill it, whatever you need to do. I do find that this is a very wet pen, and these cartridges only last about a week or so of casual writing. Another thing I find is that I tend to use one color of ink, and if I swap between brands, it's really not that big of a deal because it's the same color. And currently I have black in there, and black is probably the easiest color to do this to. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I do feel like we in the fountain pen community and those of us that watch a lot of content on fountain pens, we're probably cleaning our pens too much. I mean, it's important to clean your pen, but to me, I usually clean them when there's an issue, when I feel like the flow isn't up to standard. Not every time I change inks, and not always every time I change an ink color, but that's a story for another day. Now, one issue with this pen is that you do have a mechanism inside that allows for the twisting of the nib and for the cartridge to come out. I'm sure there's oils in there and everything else, so it's probably not the best idea to simply flush this thing with water. I think this is a good use of a bulb syringe or some other kind of cleaning syringe. You can also take a long international cartridge and cut the back off and use it as a funnel to get water in and out of the nib and the feed. That's another really good strategy. But for me, I'm going to clean this infrequently, just whenever it needs it. So let's write with this amazing magical pen. First, unscrew the cap, and then post it on the back and screw it gently. I'm very gentle with this pen. It's a delicate mechanism. There's no reason to be hard on it. So now, this gorgeous two-tone 14 karat gold medium nib is revealed. Absolutely smooth as glass on the paper and a pure joy to write with. It's very precise, due to how easy it is to hold this, how balanced it is in my hand. And creating words is just a joy. I do enjoy using this pen, and as I've stated before, I do find that it's better for long writing sessions. I've taken it to work, and it was almost comical when someone brought me something to sign. It took me a little bit to assemble my pen, sign it, and I'm sure that they were wondering what was going on. So these fountain pens have a bit of a cult following, so their prices used are a bit expensive out there on Etsy and eBay, and they don't come up as often as I would like, so they're a little bit on the rarer side, but they can be found. They usually go for $600, $700, up to $1,000, depending on their condition and which particular model that it is. I received mine actually from an eBay seller, which is rare for me, but they were in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, so I felt like I had a little bit more control, and certainly I can tell a fake Montblanc from a real one easily enough. So mine was a little bit more on the rougher side. It required a little bit of tweaking of the nib. I had to floss it with a brass shim, and I shined up the pen with Cape Cod cloth on the gold and with a little bit of polywatch on the surface scratches. And now it looks brand new. So it's worth it to put a little bit of effort into it if you don't want to spend too much. Now, Montblancs generally hold on to a good portion of their value, but that's not why we buy pens. Pens are almost never an investment, except in the joy and the passion that you find in them. It's an investment in the sense that it inspires you to reach for more thoughts, more experiences, and to keep writing and keep opening yourself up in your journal. It's an investment in yourself and in the joy of writing. For me, I don't buy a Montblanc, a Visconti, or any other pen just to say that I have it or so that people notice or for any other reason. For me, it's about the experience of writing with it. If I didn't like the way a pen writes, I wouldn't have it. There are so many different choices out there. But there's something about Montblanc's nibs. There's a certain smoothness and quality to them. It's just lovely. And I just love writing, and in this case, I love assembling this pen. It's just magical. And I can't put it down. This has truly become one of my favorite fountain pens. It's just completely beguiling. So, what do you think? Which pens beguile you? Sometimes they just get under our skin. Thank you for watching, and if you've reached this point in the video, please subscribe. You seem to like this channel, and I would certainly appreciate it. And if you want to support the channel even more, membership is available. We have a pen pal group. We have all sorts of fun things going on behind the scenes. I'd love to see you there. So I release new videos every week, and I have a live show Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. So I promise you, we will see each other again very soon, further up the road. So take care of yourself.